Hello, people. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another podcast, Best English here by Teacher Bruno Gon. And today I have a good friend here, Teacher Dora, which already worked with me. Actually, we worked together in a school, and now we are having this opportunity to share this episode. So, welcome, Dora.
Hey everyone, thank you, Bruno. I'm glad to be here with you guys. I hope we can have a good time talking about this amazing topic.
Yeah, so today we are going to talk about a Brazilian festival that usually takes place around this time of the year in June. That's why we call it in Portuguese some kind of Festa Junina. In English, I wouldn't know how to say it, but I would like a Brazilian June typical festival or something like it.
Yeah.
And Dora, have you ever been part of any of these festivals, like in your life when you were a kid or something?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I used to hate it when I was a child. It was a nightmare. I used to panic whenever I had to dance or participate in any school event that was related to this kind of celebration. I used to
Yeah.
hate it, but as time went by, I it grew on me. Right, it grew on me, and now I love it because now I understand where this celebration comes from, which is something that I find very interesting. The history is very interesting, but also because of the food.
Yes, of
The
course.
food and the drinks, they are perfect. How can someone not like it, right? So
Of course, like the best part of this festival, like most people goes to this festival because of the food, right? There's a lot of influence. We're going to talk a little bit about during this, but also when I was a kid, I used to hate that. Uh, uh, the schools used to host, like how can I say, in a better way for American people to hear like some kind of proms, like some kind of dances in which we would like dress like the festival, some wearing some countryside style clothes with some kind of hats and shirts with like squares and like using some little flags attached to it. And when I was a child, like we were dancing and people said, "Oh, come on, clap your hands," and so on. And I used to use the other part of my hands like a clapping in reverse. And my mom would say like, "Bruno, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm unclapping it." I can like,
yeah,
I didn't like it. And
I
as
don't
Dora,
support this event.
yeah, I didn't like it at all. And as Dora said, it also like with time it grew on me today. I love going to these celebrations, these parties, these festivals, but sadly has been decreasing the hosting it. Right, Dora? I don't know if you have noticed, but I've been noticed like it seems that it's going to die or something.
Maybe because of the pandemic, we've been a while without being able to celebrate like that, like gathering people and dancing together. Maybe that's why we have this feeling, but I hope it doesn't die.
Me
I
too.
hope we don't lose it because it's a fun moment, and it's an interesting festivity,
It is.
and and we should keep this tradition on, I guess.
Right. And as you mentioned that you like the history of this, like the where it come from, let's talk about it, right? It's called Festa Junina. Like the name comes from the name from the month June, because when it started, the first registers we have about this festivity, it was usually in June, right?
Mm-hmm.
According to what we researched together, uh, it was during June that the harvest, that they used to grow cereals, maybe rice and corn, and these cereals that were the base of eating habits and feeding all over Europe at the time and so on. And during this time, it was a time of harvest. So, according to what I researched, they hosted these festivities in order to thank for the harvest and the fire that we used to have fire until today. We set up a big fire is also relating to the festivity, the original tradition of the festivity, according to it, to the history. It was a way to scare evil spirits that they were trying to kill the crop and kill all the seeds, which also reminds me of Halloween. I don't know if you had a relation, but it came to my mind, the
Yeah.
idea of scaring evil spirits, you know. I found very interesting because it's so associated with the Catholic Church and Christian religion, but it was all related to just the protection for the crops and also some pagan tradition as well.
Yeah, it was actually a pagan celebration first.
Yeah.
People before the Catholic Church came and adapted this celebration into something Christian, it was actually a pagan celebration to really welcome a new season,
Yeah.
which was summer. So that's why they talk about the harvest and the seeds, and they set up a fire. It was a moment for pagan people to celebrate the new season that was upon them. And which is curious, there are many festivities that we celebrate as a Christian, a Catholic festivity, such as Christmas, for example,
Yeah.
that come from pagan traditions.
Sure.
Historically, it was interesting for them to adapt a little and make some changes in order to change the calendar into Catholic, right?
True.
So now it's Festa Junina, and it's related for us in Brazil, right? It's Festa Junina, and it's related to saints like São João and what
São
is the other?
Pedro e Santo Antônio.
Exactly. And before it wasn't, because there were no saints, but there were gods.
No, and we're
So
gods,
there were some,
exactly.
yeah, there were some adaptations in
Yeah,
order to make sense for Catholic
they used to
people.
celebrate the gods of nature, the gods of fertility, which goes against the Christian tradition that was imposed to the festivity.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
It was totally different because the first festivities were to celebrate the gods of fertility, the gods of nature, and relating to the harvest, because they need to eat, of course, right?
Yeah.
And then during time, actually before it was changed and adapted, the Christian church, the Catholic Church, they tried to kill it. They tried to end this festivity, and fortunately they didn't. They couldn't. They couldn't do it.
Why would they do it, right? But okay. Yeah.
Yes, why would they do it? Just like, let's not get into the political thing and all this stuff, but why would they do it? It's something so nice and so beautiful, and why doing that? And also this change, according to our research, many people find it's not so old. Actually, it is older than most people think. According to research that I've done, this imposition from the Catholic Church started in the Middle Ages. So we're talking about even before Brazil was officially discovered, you know?
Yeah, that's about right. But the symbols continue, right? They remain. We keep using the pagan symbols, even though nowadays it is more common to talk about them and talk about those celebrations using different terms and different names.
Exactly.
The essence is there.
Because, and then when Brazil was colonized by Portugal, and the Portuguese, they had a lot of the celebrations together with Spain and these countries, and they brought this when they colonized the countries. And most people think, for example, the fire is something related to the countryside of Brazil, in which today, who is watching the soap operas on TV is being broadcast, the new version of that soap opera Pantanal, which they show a lot of this singing and guitar playing and singing typical songs and eating typical food around a fire, right? In which people say, oh, so that's where comes from the fire from Festa Junina. No, it doesn't. There is no relation to that. Actually, it's just a happy coincidence.
Yeah, it was actually an European habit.
Yes.
An European custom. So
exactly,
that we acquired.
Yes, it's something that is just no relation. Like, oh, Festa Junina is a Brazilian thing. No, it's not. It's not a Brazilian thing. Actually, it was just adapted. And of course, then in the countryside of Brazil, we had some typical dish that we didn't research exactly from where this Brazilian typical dish came from, but it was merged into the Festa Junina tradition. Which one is your favorite? I love paçoca. It's a Brazilian candy, some kind of Brazilian sweet.
It's hard to choose, but I love paçoca too. Everything that has peanut on it, I love it. So yeah, I would totally choose something with peanut.
Yeah, if somebody outside of Brazil it's got curious, if you find Brazilian paçoca, there is no name in English, I guess. Try it because it's peanut based. It's just great.
It's awesome.
It
Yeah.
is. Don't try to speak when you are eating paçoca, just for the record.
Yeah.
Right. Something that I also researched, that the name Festa Junina, there is no how can I say, there is no agreement if it comes from the name of the month June
Exactly.
or from the Saint John, in Brazil, Santo João, right?
But do you know why it happens in June?
Can you tell us?
Because in Europe, that's when they start summer.
Yes.
Right. So that's why they used to celebrate it in June, but for us it would make no sense because in June we are welcoming winter.
Yes.
Right. So, but it continued on the same date. So you would have to call it Junina otherwise.
Right.
What would you call it?
One of the name relating Festa Junina with some people relates to Saint John, Santo João, is that actually the first names, it was Festa Joanina, that comes from his name, right? But they didn't find an agreement. It comes from the name June or from the saint's name and so on, but they never found it. Also, I found something related to Santo Antonio, that as it is the saint relating the wedding, the celebration of wedding, and also that's why it has the how we call it, that role playing relating, let's get people to get married during Festa Junina.
Yes.
Because Santo Antonio is the saint relating the wedding. Thank God I was never caught during the festivities to get married.
Yeah, there is this whole thing about getting people to date each other and fall in love, right? And stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know, like it's just a lot of culture involved in which merged into this festivity, and sadly people don't know. They just want to have they want to throw the party, let's have the party, let's eat, let's drink, and so on.
Exactly. But it's interesting knowing where it comes from.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
I love this celebration. Okay, but where does it come from?
Yeah.
Why am I celebrating this?
And we want to ask you, people who are listening, people who are watching, what's your vision on Festa Junina? Like, what's your deal? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Did you know all this, the history we talked about? Was surprising to you or not?
Yes, please share with us. And come on, can anybody not like Festa Junina? Is it even possible?
Sadly, yes, there are people who don't like it. And there are many people who are against do some kind of misuse of concept relating religion and so on.
Prejudice and so on, yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's it. Dora, thank you so much for taking this invitation.
Thank you for welcoming me here. I loved it. It was very fun and I love talking about it. Hope that we have more moments like that in the future.
Sure. Guys, thank you so much. So if you like the video, like it, subscribe, forward to your friends. If you're listening to me, rate me 5 stars, whatever podcast supplier you're up to. And you'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, guys.